Julie Andrews lived in front of the world for decades, but the life that mattered most to her happened away from the cameras. Most people think they know her. The warm smile, the crystalline voice, the practically perfect performances in Mary Poppins, and the sound of music that turned her into a fixture of childhood for generations. She radiated a kind of quiet goodness that felt almost impossible to manufacture. And yet, behind that luminous public image was a woman shaped not by applause, but by the people she loved, some of whom the world rarely heard about. Before Hollywood ever knew her name, there was Tony Walton. They met as young students in London, two ambitious dreamers building careers from scratch. He was a gifted designer, she was a singer whose voice stopped people cold. Their marriage in the late 1950s and the birth of their daughter Emma seemed like the beginning of everything. But as Julie's career accelerated, Broadway, then Hollywood, then international fame, their lives drifted apart. There was no scandal, no dramatic falling out, just the quiet reality that two thriving careers don't always leave room for a shared life. Even after their divorce, Julie spoke of Tony with genuine warmth. He had believed in her before the world did, and that mattered to her always. Then came the man who changed the professional trajectory of her life entirely. When Julie was passed over for the film version of My Fair Lady, a role she had originated on stage, it was a blow that might have defined her career differently. Instead, Walt Disney stepped in. He had been watching her for years and wanted her for Mary Poppins. When Julie mentioned she was expecting a child and worried the studio might move on, Disney simply told her he'd wait. That quiet confidence proved transformative. Her debut film performance earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress, and she never looked back. Audiences watching The Sound of Music often wondered whether the chemistry between Julie and Christopher Plummer continued after filming wrapped. It didn't, but what developed instead was arguably richer. Over more than 50 years, they built a friendship rooted in genuine respect, shared humor, and the kind of trust that Hollywood rarely produces. When Plummer passed away, Julie's tribute was heartfelt and unambiguous. He had been one of the finest people she'd ever known. Carol Burnett brought something different: laughter as a lifeline. When a throat surgery in the late 1990s permanently damaged Julie's singing voice, it shook something fundamental in her sense of self. Carol refused to let grief win. She reminded Julie that audiences had never loved just the voice, they had loved her. That kind of friendship, steady and honest in the hardest moments, is irreplaceable. But the person who stood closest through everything was Blake Edwards, the man she married in the late 1960s, and chose every day for more than 4 decades. Their partnership was creative, deeply personal, and built on the rare foundation of two people who accepted each other completely. After the loss of her voice, it was Blake who saw possibility where Julie saw only loss. He encouraged her to keep writing, directing, and inspiring people in new ways. He was, by her own account, her closest friend, her greatest supporter, and the love of her life. Their marriage lasted until his passing in 2010. Awards fade, headlines disappear, but the people who stay, who show up when it's hard, those are the ones we carry forward. Julie Andrews understood that better than almost anyone. If this story moved you, hit like and subscribe for more portraits of the people behind the legends.